Okay, thank you. Good morning, friends. Yes, now the next topic is variables, right? In the last class, we covered about the constants, which does not change, right? Now, the variable, the name itself indicates the quantity that changes during the execution of the program is called variable. It can change its value, right? Now, the variable are the names given to identify a specific program elements. Therefore, the variables are also called as identifiers because we can name the variables so that we can identify that. For example, see here, if you are adding two numbers, right, a plus b, the result of this a plus b we can store in sum. So this is the name of variables, right? You should identify what is that, so that the variables are also called as identifiers. Now the variables represent a particular memory location where the data can be stored. Even the variable can able to represent a particular memory location where the data can be stored, right? Where you are storing the data, that it can represent the memory location. See, for examples of the variables are sum, area, age, length. Because by looking at the name only you should come to identify, right? What is that? See, by looking at the variable name called as area, you will come to know that in this variable the area of something it's stored, right? Age. So by looking at the name of the variable, you will come to know, yes, this is the age of any person, right? Like this. So you should name the variable, that name should be identify the specific elements, right? Yes, these are the some names of the examples of the variables. Now just come to the rules for forming variables. Yes, to form an variable in the C program, we have some rules, right? Yes, what are those rules? The first character must be an alphabet or underscore, right? When you are start to write the variable name, the first letter, the first character, it must should be an alphabet, otherwise it should be underscore. See, look at here, all the variable names are character only, right? Yes, now the next one, all succeeding characters are consist of letters and digit. For first, once you start with an alphabet and the succeeding characters consists of letters or digits, it doesn't matter, right? It may be letter or it may be digits. Now both uppercase and the lowercase are significant in C. While you naming the variable, both letter, it may be caps or it may be small, right? Uppercase and the lowercase, both letters are correct, both letters are significant only. There is no rules that you can use the lowercase only or you can use the uppercase only. Now the fourth rule is writing the variables in a lower case is good practice, right? Yes, we know both are significant, right? Both are significant, but then also the writing variables in a lower case is a good practice, right? In lower case is good practice. Now, keywords should not be used as variables, right? What is keyword? We will discuss the later. So the keywords cannot be used as variables, and special characters are not allowed. There is no limit. Special characters means hash, dollar, question mark, exclamatory, so those are not allowed. Now there is no limit on the number of characters in a variable name. So for example, now we saw the examples of variables called as sum, area, right? Those we used the characters are 4 or 5 characters, right? But here there is no limit of the characters. You can use the variable name called as, you can take 10 characters, 15 characters, 20 characters, right? There is no limit in that. Now always choose an appropriate variable name that makes proper sense to the user, right? That should make the proper sense, means you can choose such a name of the variable that should make the sense. For example, we already discussed, right? If you are adding the two numbers, right? If you are adding two numbers, then you can store this, or the name of the variable should be sum, because the user will come to know, user make some sense. See here, if I'm adding two variables a and b, but I want to store it is, for example, I am telling you it is multiplication, right? So the user will come to know that by looking at this variable, inside this the multiplication of two number is there. But what we are doing, we are storing here addition of two numbers. right? Yes, the compiler will going to execute this, but this is not a good sense. You should write the variable name, you choose the appropriate name that makes some proper sense to the user, right? See here some of the examples of variables, that is a valid variables and invalid variables. Marks, it is a valid variable, right? 8ab, it is a invalid variable. Yes, why it is invalid variable? Because the first letter of the variable should start from characters, otherwise underscore, but here we started with the integer part 8 or digit, right? That's why it's invalid. Total marks, yes, it's a valid one. Total marks, it's a invalid. Why it is invalid means here we used underscore, here we used minus, right? Just have a look, this is the difference between underscore and the minus. Minus will appear at the middle, right? Underscore means at the bottom of the character. So total marks, right? This is a valid one, this is invalid one, because here we use underscore, here we use minus one. For that reason it is invalid, because underscore is significant, minus is not significant. Now the area of circle and area of circle, see here the area of circle is valid, but this area of circle is invalid, because the one underscore is significant here. Continuously succeeding of two underscores is not allowed, because what we did here, we put two underscores here continuously. So for that reason it is invalid. Number 20, yes, it's a valid, because the first its character from start from character. So 20 number, it's a invalid, because first we started with the digit, right? It cannot starts with digit. Again I am repeating, it cannot starts with digit, it can starts with underscore or characters, right? For that reason it's a invalid one, right? Okay, thank you. For the next the very important topic. Now these are the some rules. See, again I am repeating you. See, just have a look here. K important, right? The rules of forming a variable names is a most important question. That is khatarnak important, pakka a fixed question, right? Now in the next class we will discuss about the declaration of variables, how to declare the variable and how to assigning the variables. We will see in the next class. Okay, thank you.